Okay, great. So what do we have here? We have techniques to solve problems. There are 7 quality control tools, 7 quality control tools. Fine, talking about the 7 quality control tools, we have, I already told you that we have 7 here and another 7 here. And we are going to study these 7, which were the originally quality control tools, the one that you can see here. And then we are going to study another 7. The next 7 are more mathematical tools. It's not quality wise, like, so this is like more, they call it qualitative in the sense that they are qualitative, and the other 7 QC tools are more quantitative. Okay, quantitative tools. طبعا the quantitative tools, they have a lot of calculations in it. But we are going to skip all the calculations. It's not skipping, but I'm not going to concentrate a lot on the quantitative part. For the qualitative, of course, we're going to study them now, 7 of them, in a moment. So starting with the affinity diagram. So what is the affinity diagram? The affinity diagram, it is something related to just brainstorming ideas. And while brainstorming the ideas, you're trying to put them in groups. And while putting them in groups, you started discovering that there are certain problems which are very clear that they're coming from one source rather than many different sources. And we are going to take an example now because you cannot understand it without examples. So we are going to do it now. So that is the 7 QC tools, and we are going to start with the affinity diagram. And these are the quality control tools, the 7, the quantitative one, and we are going to study all of them. You're going to like it. Okay, so affinity diagram. So let's start with the affinity diagram. I already explained this. Sometimes I explain things before I show them. I should show them before and then explain them, Annie. So I just run by myself. Again, I'm going to just mention what does this figure means. So we have numerical data. We use the 7 QC tools that are related to math. We have verbal data. We use the 7 new tools, which they call them the affinity diagram, and the 7 tools that we are going to study now. So we have 7 for numerical and 7 for verbal. So we already said that. Okay, but in all cases, especially in the affinity diagram, when you start, we always have verbal data, but how much you can organize that verbal data. يعني شنو معنى verbal data؟ يعني for example, I'm starting with example now. عندنا مشكلة في التسجيل. We have a problem with the registration system. We always have a problem that students cannot register 5 courses as they should have, as they intend to, as per the curriculum plan. Okay, so my problem here became very clear, and let me start. Let me start with you, and we are going to discuss with each other. I'm just going to share the screen to open the whiteboard. Okay, so let's start with an example here. Okay, got it. Okay, great. So what do we have? The thing that what we have is, I have a problem. And this problem is that students cannot register 5 courses, or as per their plan, or like it could be 6 courses, so they cannot register the 5 courses as per the curriculum plan. But I'm talking about the time before we get into the add drop period. The students should already have the 5 courses or the 6 courses that he's planning to. But my son, he joined university last year or this year. He now it's his second semester. So I can see that how suffering sometimes it could be. I can see how early he should enter, and I can see the problems actually, and everything is full. And I'm sure the registration are doing, they are trying their best. But يعني, here we are not trying to say you're bad. We are trying to say what? We are trying to say that there is a problem and we need to solve it. And because we are part of that system, we are as students, so we must discuss it. We have the full responsibility, I would think, as well. So it's not only the full freedom, it's also the full responsibility because I'm part of it. Hello. So let's start. So as I'm starting now here, what I'm trying to do, just to get the idea, I'll try to organize the verbal data that you have. How do I get the verbal data? How do I generate ideas? Get the data and generate ideas is by doing the following. So the first thing I'm going to ask you now is that why do you think? Okay, so why do you think we have a problem? So why do you think we have a problem? In this case, now I'm going to wait for you to answer. Yalla. I will wait for you to answer.
Because the huge number of students.
We have huge number of students. Best huge number of students, or you want to go in more details? ولا
السكشنز المبطلين ما تكفي العدد.
Okay, so huge number of students in comparison to the number of sections, available sections. حددها أكثر. Okay, so that's one.
The social media comments on Instagram and Twitter and the hashtags, it all means that there's not enough space for the students to have these subjects.
Yes, the social media is a side effect because people cannot register. People complain. My question is that why student cannot register 5 courses?
الويك سيرفيس دكتور اللي شغال عليها الريجستريشن.
Weak service. What do you mean weak service?
ما يقدر يتحمل العدد الكبير يدشون مع بعض فيشير.
It cannot handle. هذه الكلام الصح. It cannot handle the number of students registering at one time. Okay.
The register is at 4 p.m. so sometimes it open at 5 for me because of the lag in the internet and the website itself.
Hello. So the problem is the system could have lags. صح?
Yeah.
ممتاز. Let me write it. عشان توضح الفكرة. The system has lags. Actually, you said 2 points. You said the system has lags and the system شنو قلت بعد?
Like if the registration at 4 p.m. sometimes it opens at 5 so you can be able to add a subject only.
Okay, great. Are all subjects open for you as well? ولا لا?
When we are trying to add shows sometime we cannot, and sometimes there is a clashing and we cannot add seat request, which happened this semester.
Okay, so what they call it, privileges to register are very limited. مثل adding a seat, solving clashes, and so on. Graduating students. يعني I think it's clear. Okay, great. Bad.
عدم تعاون الأقسام.
Doctor, I would say the problem is not regarding the clashes or the Wi-Fi or the system itself. The problem exactly is in the number of seats. Whether we enter at 4 or 5, there should be enough seats because they know a certain number of students should register in this course. So they should put like 4 extra seats to guarantee everyone would get a seat.
Okay. If I would add Batul, يعني, is it because of the number of seats, which is okay, good point. But why cannot they know the number of seats before? ليش ما يعرفوا من قبل?
No, I'm saying they should know the number because they
Okay,
have
hello.
expectations who fails and who succeeds.
Okay, so let me explain it in this way. So it's not only about the number of seats that are very limited, which is a problem actually. By itself, it is a problem, but this is not our point. Our main point is that there's no prediction to the number of required seats. So that it becomes like fit for purpose. We know the number of students, we know number of seats. Hello. Okay.
In my opinion, also the percentage for the students. Like sometimes I am registering with students at level 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is also a problem.
يعني because you're late, you mean? For
No,
example?
like the percentage from like 52 up to 80 and from 92 to be graduated, which is like not really good. The percentage when they do the percentage for students to join the session to register.
I still did not get your point. يعني I see it as a side result and not a problem. يعني بس maybe I couldn't understand your point.
قصدي توزيع فترات التسجيل دكتور.
توزيع فترات التسجيل. Okay, sorry. Okay, thank you. So توزيع فترات التسجيل. So you're talking about a different distribution of time of registration for the different batches. Okay, so yes, that is an issue. صح كلامك. Yeah, you're right. Okay, do you have also more points?
دكتور الأقسام ما تتعاون لأن أحيانا مش ممكن التسجيل يتوقف بسبب إنه القسم مثلا مو موافق على تعارض، وهو في الواقع ما يكون تعارض. إنه صادتني من قبل يعني مادة يكون لها وقتين بس إنه متعارف عليه مثلا لاب إن يا نحضر الأحد أو الخميس عندنا، فخير للطالب. فيكون عندي مادة ممكن أحضرها الخميس وما أقدر أنزلها بسبب التوقيت ذي، أروح ويا القسم عشان أحضر الأحد بس ما يتعاونون القسم. كل واحد يقول لي مشكلتك، كل واحد يقطني على الثاني.
ليش قالوا لك
فالقسم نفسه
مشكلتك؟
كلهم دكتور أقول لك إياه، كلهم كل ما راح يقول لي مشكلتك هاي في التسجيل. هو مع إنه يقدر يحلونه يعني من القسم نفسه، يقدر يسوي قبول بتعارض، بس عشان ما يعور راسه وياي يقول لي مشكلتك كان كلم التسجيل أنا ما أقدر أسوي لك شيء. مع إنه قبل كانوا يقبلونها.
طبعا يقبلون هم التعارض اذا كان في واحد تخرج، لكن اذا مو تخرج ما يقبلون له.
لا قبل دكتور المادة ذي مثلا لاب 1 هي في الجدول محطوطة يومين عندنا.
اي بس ما
خميس وذي.
يومين. اي ما يعطونها
لا
يومين.
الفصول اللي قبلها يقبلون الكلمة اللي جت على الدكتور ما كان رايق لي تقريبا، قال لي مشكلتك ما اقدر اسوي لك شيء. مع الفصول اللي قبلها كل من يقبلونه.
I mean is a lot of space, a lot of time space. Okay.
حط عدم تعاون القسم تكفي دكتور.
القسم يعني the department coordination or يعني التعاون غير يعني cooperation. انا دا تلاحظون انا كلماتي وايد فيها يعني سياسيه لحد ما، يعني حاصل في كلماتي عشان ما اجرح. وليش اقول كذي انا؟ لان هذه بتحصلون خبره. سوري I will say it in English. You will have this experience with time. يعني you can see that the department is not cooperative, or I can say that the department has very limited authority to cooperate. Okay, and the difference is that when you say that it has limited authority to cooperate, يعني you are not against the department, but when you say the department is not cooperative, you are against the department. But I don't mean against, but this is how the person in front of you feels, and he becomes an attack position rather than being with you in an attack position. Okay, I'm just mentioning this detail. So they have limited to cooperate. But it could be that they are not cooperating or not cooperating, and to be honest, it could be possible as well. Okay, what else do you have?
Since it's an online course and like they are assuming we are going to the university, so the best idea is to open a lot of seats, and the quizzes, the tests are on a blackboard, and the system will automatically correct our quizzes and tests. So there's a problem for us, the online course, the limited in the seats, since it's an online, so nothing to be corrected by hand.
Okay, great. Okay, do you have something more, Ali, in your head as well? Okay, I'll tell you that how the affinity diagram is based on brainstorming. Okay, so brainstorming, getting up with many different ideas, as you have seen here. Sorry. So you already came up with many different ideas, and it is in front of you here. However, the affinity diagram says that, wallah, يصير can we join things together that are related? So if we can join things together, it just makes our life easier to put solutions. Yani, let me talk about, for example, the things that are related to coordination. There's a problem with the coordination thing. يعني مثلا coordination, you said, for example, يعني coordination means that number of students, huge number of students in comparison to number of sections. No prediction is something related to planning, so I'm going to keep it by its own. Distribution of time registration for the different batches. Actually, this is also related to planning. Huge number of students in comparison to the number of available sections. Coordination, what I try to mean, I mean that the department is not cooperating. The registration system, they are not replying. ما حد قال the registration system not replying. I'm not sure. Is this a problem or not?
Please add it. Yeah, please
okay.
add it.
Okay, so we will add the department, for example, method not cooperating, or they don't have the authority to the registration system are not replying, never reply. For example, I'm just trying to write something quickly. So we have here something like that is related to coordination. I don't know if there's something else related to coordination and contact and communication. Something related to communication. خلنا اكتبها هني. لا, I don't want.
Doctor, add as well that they never correct or do something regarding the frequent mistakes that happens all the time. Like for example, there's a section. It's a common problem for all students taking heat, I think, or separation. That they have a conflict. Like all the patches have this problem, and they never do anything about it, and they know the problem and they face it every single semester. So they never learn.
Subhanallah. Okay, that is another. This is, yani, I'm going to add it. Okay, so I'll try to do my best with the amount of space that I have here. So here I'm talking about there are issues related to planning. There are issues related to communication. and coordination. I'm adding the word coordination. The reason is that there's one problem that maybe you have not mentioned, is that sometimes the department doesn't know how to contact the registration. Okay, they don't know how to contact. And the department is that they are stuck as you are stuck. So the does not know how to contact the registration system.
And there is an important point I would like to mention, if you allow me.
Yes.
So how they can know our problems if they close the comments on Instagram, and this thing made me really angry. Yeah. So this is a problem also.
So they close the comments on Instagram, which is also related to communication. I totally agree. You see, when we started arranging them, we started coming up also with additional ideas or additional reasons to the problems. Why? Because we started knowing that there's a problem with the communication and coordination. Even with planning, so there's a problem with planning. That means they don't distribute things well from the beginning. They do not predict the number of seats from the beginning. They don't have enough number of students. They know the number of students, but they don't put available sections from the beginning. And so you can see how that is all related to planning. There is something also related to what? Related to the system itself, the SIS system. And this is where you're talking about the system has lags. It cannot handle the number of students registering at one time. What else? And the national number of seats are very limited. These are something things not related to the system. Actually, I thought that you would say even more about the SIS system. For example, it is slow. You already said that system has lags, that does not open at the right time. I need to separate these 2 points because there are 2 different points. Hello. So we can see that things that are related to the SIS system, we have kept them together. There are other things related to scheduling, which is also related maybe to planning. But I will put it under scheduling because it's more about planning for the schedule. And this is related to the time of the lab. What else? Privileges. Let me read. Privileges to register are very limited. Okay, this is related to وين أحطها? Privileges وين لا مو بهني. It's not really planning, it's something else as well. I'll put it separate. Okay, number of seats are very limited. Never correct the mistakes. Okay, never correct the mistakes. Here, privileges I'm going to add as part of privileges. Never correct mistakes, which means this is related to continuous improvement. They don't have a continuous improvement cycle, which they know their mistakes and they work better after it. And what we have seen here, now we have like 6 main problems, and you can even go with more time. So I have a problem with planning, I have a problem with this SIS system, I have a problem with privileges, continuous improvement, scheduling, and communication and coordination. طبعا for a moment, if you see this, we organized the brainstorming, the verbal data that we have. We organized it so that we can deal with it, so that we can solve it. Now I know where's my problem. My problem is not always the SIS system. So when they always go to the IT directorate in the university and they try to even improve it more and more, and then they think that they will solve it. But maybe the problem is not the SIS system only. It is to do with planning. If you have good planning, you will have a good SIS system because SIS system, at the end of the day, it is all related to planning. Even when you say that the system does not open at the right time, to be honest with you, this is also related to planning. Why? Because you can identify the bandwidth where it can handle all those big number of students. I know the story of IT. I have sat with them. يعني, well, يعني, to be honest with you, I was part of a plan also. I was part of the plan of the SIS system to fix it many years back. So, but يعني, alhamdulillah, يعني, things are going good sometimes, but things goes bad if you don't continue your project. So one of the projects that we try to solve this whole system here is to fix number one, planning, is to fix number two, coordination and communication, is to fix the privileges. Believe me, like when we fix these three, for 5 courses very easily in about 15 minutes, and that was before the SIS system. That was in 2012. And we also got a prize from the Prime Minister office for doing this. طبعا why did not we continue with the project? It is another story. I cannot mention it now. We did not continue with that. But there are always politics that makes things go wrong. So this is just not to go away from the idea. I don't want to go through side stories. But this is the way of how we are going to do the affinity diagram. Now, going back to the idea, looking at it, when the affinity diagram, يعني هاي كلها شرحة, I don't want those. The affinity diagram, what does it do? Tool number one, gathers large amount of verbal data, ideas, opinions, issues, then organize the data into groups. This is what we have done based on natural relationship. Yani we found the relationship that we thought that they are related, and make it feasible for further analysis. So we are now discussing with each other, making more analysis, adding more points, and then to find a solution. Our next step is find a solution. We did not find the solutions yet, but we already did all the steps that we need to do, and the only thing is left is to now to do some kind of, or maybe also further analysis to find the solution. Okay, and finding the solution could be very related. Related in what sense? That I have a problem with the SIS system. What is the solution? I need to have a higher bandwidth for the system that has lags. It does not open at the right time. I don't know what is that. يعني, I don't know how they're going to fix it. But again, I think it's related to the speed, the bandwidth, the amount of data that it can handle. They add more servers. Okay, so they have more servers, for example. They put things into cloud. I don't know if this is a good idea or not. يعني. So this is all ideas, solutions. If you go to planning, مثلا, okay, you already mentioned some of the solutions. That means we need to increase the number of seats. And one of you said, no, it's not about increasing the number of seats. It's about predicting exactly the number of seats that fits the purpose. And if we predict it, we will have seats that are suitable to the numbers that are going to register. Hello. So here we are putting solutions so that we can solve. And then we go to a solution. What is related to communication, coordination? Open the Instagram to hear the students' problem, because if you don't hear students' problems, how would you know where is the problem? And if you open a line for students to reply, but you don't reply to the line, that is another problem as well. صح? So you're closing one line, and your original line you're not opening it, or you have a lot of. And to be honest, I talked to them, the dean. يعني عشان بس أقول لكم القصص يعني I cannot hold myself saying stories. So I talked to the dean and I told him, why did you close this? ليش? He said students are saying many things that are not organized, and sometimes it becomes harmful to the image of the university. I said, okay, why is the image is suffering? It's suffering because we have a problem. So we need to fix our problem rather than talking about the image. And then we discussed, okay, And then I told him, okay, don't you have a straight line for students to call? He said, yes, we have. But I asked to hire 50 people for 1 month. For 1 month, I was going to write 30 days. And we are going to give every person of that person who was like a call center, we are going to give them by the end of the month about 300 or 400 BD. So say 400. طبعا 400 to 50 is 20,000. So that is 20,000 BD for that call center to reply to the students and tell them what to do and support them. These 50 people, I need to what? I need to train them before. So I need also an additional amount. Okay, where's the story? How many did he get from the 50? How many did he get from 50?
4 or 5?
2.
Oh my God.
Okay, and now you can imagine why did no one reply to you. Fine. What I'm trying to say also, when the dean told me, I told him the student does not ask about the what they call it, the substitute characteristics. He does not ask about what is happening in the back end. He does not ask about what problems does the registration have. The student is like a customer. He only wants to register 5 courses, and we want to be fit for purpose to register those 5 courses. But I understand from one side, because I'm at the university, that this is a problem that he has, and maybe he cannot solve it. But now we are not putting excuses more than we are trying to solve the problem. But the problem was not solved, sorry for that, and this is why the student had many problems, even this semester. But again, what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to do further analysis. My further analysis brought me to discuss that they could not hire, okay, they could not hire more people in the on-call center. Okay, so it got me to some more analysis so that I can put a solution. I can put a solution that is suitable. But you can always put more solutions related to communication, scheduling, and so on. Again, so what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to find a solution to the problem. So what we have done with the affinity diagram, we creatively generate a large number of ideas and then organize and summarize natural groupings among them to understand the essence of a problem and propose the solution. So we understand the essence of the problem, where is the problem, and then we propose solutions. So that is the affinity diagram. But we can go into, we can organize the way how affinity diagram is done. So it's written here, select the topic to be analyzed. We selected the topic about students having problem registering 5 courses. Use brainstorming to collect verbal data. We collected verbal data from everyone brainstorming. We did not say that it is a good idea or a bad idea. That means your answers to me as problems. I did not say like, well, this is not a problem, because part of brainstorming is to talk loudly without any barriers. Write each item in a separate data card. So I started writing it in a separate cards. Separate out all cards on table. I don't have a table, I stick them on the whiteboard. Then move data cards into groups. So I started moving them into groups, as you have seen, putting them together. So we had put our cards here into groups. This is one group, this is second group, third group, fourth group, and so on. Combine statements on data cards to new affinity statements. So we combine the statement to affinity new statement. A new statement, that means I have written here planning, SIS system, communication. So I'm putting the new statement here at the top just to make sure that what relates all those problems together. Continue to combine until less than 5 groups. It's always better to have less groups so that you can solve the problem. And then now the next stage is to put solution. Draw the final affinity diagram for the problem discussed. And here we need to add to put the solutions. So that is the affinity diagram. Allahu Akbar. I think you can hear my voice, yani, even though the adhan is a bit loud at my home. السماعة يعني it is exactly on the same level, I think so, of my room, and it's exactly facing me, so you can hear it very loudly. So you have the affinity diagram that you can see here. Variable data very scattered, and then they organize it. So, talking about products, you always can. Sorry, you always can. You can organize it into very well-known reasons that are related, for example, to quality, that are related to service, that are related to delivery, that are related to price. Here he's trying to put the main reasons that usually go back to it, but yani, these are very trivial. There are many other reasons we can talk about. Yani. This is what we have done. Topic, affinity state, data cars. It was scattered. We put them into groups, and then we put an affinity statement to everyone. And then you write the solution as well. This is one example. I think so. It's not clear. Yes, it's not clear. These are copies. I'm just taking them from the internet. So it's written that customers are complaining that there is a poor product quality. Why there's a poor product quality? The product quality could be very poor for some reasons. It could be related to the subcontractor material. The contractor is bringing bad materials. It could be related to the personnel, the people who are working. They are not quality conscious, so they're doing many mistakes. Their workers, they're careless. They don't put any care. Or it could be that there is a defect in the products, which means that I'm not obeying standards. I don't have final inspection. I'm not calibrating my equipments. I'm using very poor inspection methods, which makes my product very defective. Now, if I think about this diagram, how did it start? It started through brainstorming, through these points, which were in scattered cards. And then they collected these scattered cards into what? Into groups. And then they put a name for every group, which makes it very beautiful, knowing that what is the reason for customer complaints due to poor quality. You don't need to go to the details for management. You just need to mention the generic points. And then if they need more details, you can go to more details. So that is the affinity diagram. And I hope that it was clear. And inshallah, on Thursday, we're going to go to the relation diagram, very similar to the affinity diagram, but it has a little different way of looking at it. It's different. It is different. And it is not that similar. Great. So any questions?
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Thank you. Doctor, regarding the time, like, do you think, is there a specific time that we should solve this problem?
A certain time to solve the problem?
Yeah, like, is there a range that...
Yani, you're talking about affinity diagram, right? Yani, this tool is just to generate ideas, to organize the ideas, and after organizing it, you're suggesting some solutions. Now, to organize it with time, you need another tool. Okay, another tool related to planning, because it's not only time, it's about time. Who's responsible for it? Does he has the enough resources to solve the problem or not? So you need to put a detailed action plan, and the action plan usually includes what I just have mentioned: resources, who's going to work on it, at what time he's going to finish it, and you put a KPI for the success, which is an indicator reflecting the performance, if he achieved the goal or not. So these are the details of action plan, but that isn't what, that is in another tool. This tool is good enough to find out the problems and put solutions very quickly. Hello?
Thank you.
Great. Hello. يعني I don't know, I have a comment يعني في الchat ولا اوكي شنو يقول علي يوسف several issue understanding the students council. هاي مال مساعة sorry site conflict even though it's online. Okay, so you're correct and sorry I didn't take all your points. يعطيكم العافية. Thank you very much. I hope that was useful, and similarly we're going to take the relation diagram with an example and so on. So now it is interesting that you're applying tools. It's more interesting. طبعا very similarly all the tools that you're going to apply, you're going to take a case study later. But طبعا this week we are not going to have any case study because we need time to finish all the 7 QC tools. So it will be next week يعني إن شاء الله. يعطيكم العافية. شكرا جزيلا. نشوفكم على خير. مع السلامة.
Thank you.